starts with a chuckle. Here's a riddle for you. What does Nvidia have in common with a sunflower? They both can't go a day without turning to the sun, or in Nvidia's case, the spotlight. Now, speaking of Nvidia, it's time to dive into the world of graphics cards. Nvidia and AMD, the Coca-Cola and Pepsi of the tech world. You might be a fan of one over the other, but we all know that, just like Coke and Pepsi, they're both bad for your wallet. There's an old story about a man who bought an Nvidia graphics card, and he was so excited to install it that he forgot to turn off his computer first. He plugged it in, sparks flew, and the computer shut down. The man was horrified, thinking he'd fried his new card. But when he turned the computer back on, not only did it work, but his screen resolution was so high, he could see the individual pores on his Minecraft character's face. On the other hand, we have AMD users. There was this one guy who bought an AMD card to use for his gaming. He'd been bragging about the beast he'd just acquired and was eager to show off. So his friends watched as he booted up his favorite game, and the graphics were so intense, he was literally blown away. Not figuratively, literally. His chair tipped over, and he ended up on the floor. His friends never let him live that one down. There's this saying in the tech world, Nvidia users buy for the performance, AMD users buy for the experience. And by experience, we mean the experience of having your computer sound like a jet engine taking off. Oh, and remember the guy who saw his Minecraft character's pores? He was so impressed by the detail, he spent the next 2 weeks trying to create a skincare routine for his character. Meanwhile, the AMD user was still trying to convince his friends that his fall was a part of the immersive gaming experience. But let's not forget about the woman who bought an Nvidia card for her graphic design work. She was so pleased with the performance that she started seeing everything in pixels. She'd look at a tree and think, oh, that's about 200 by 300 pixels. It got so bad, she started critiquing sunsets. The resolution's good, but it could use some anti-aliasing. If you think that's bad, then consider the AMD user who became so accustomed to his computer's fan noise that he couldn't sleep without it. He ended up recording the sound and playing it at night, calling it his lullaby for the tech-savvy. In conclusion, whether you're an Nvidia user who can't look at the world without counting pixels, or an AMD user who needs the sound of a jet engine to sleep, we can all agree on one thing. Graphics cards are a peculiar, yet amusing part of our lives. They're like that one weird relative we all have. They might be a little strange, but life would be so much duller without them. So let's raise our glasses or cans of compressed air to Nvidia and AMD. May they continue to provide us with high resolutions, noisy fans, and most importantly, hilarious stories.